Hello friends. So today I'm going to tell you about MVC Grid implementation through the Asp.NET Core, right? And for that, I'm talking about this because it's open source, right? And it's very simple, right? You can achieve its feature like you could apply the filters, pagination, uh, search, right? So that is quite easy when you do this, right? So I'm going to tell you step by step, and I'm going to also share about some limitations, how it would cause the problem as well, right? So this link I'm going to share in the description as well, you can check that, right? So okay, so let's just start. So for that you need to open the Visual Studio first, right? What you need to do is just create a new project, and I'm going to uh, use this Asp.NET Core Web App, right? MVC, okay, and make a good name, MVC Grid, right? And just create it. Next, okay, I'm going to use the .NET 6, okay, create it. It's going to create a MVC application, web application, right? Okay, so once it's open, right? Okay, so you can see, here we go. So now my first thing what I have to do is I have to add a NuGet package, right? So for that, I think you know how to add a NuGet package. Click on the manage NuGet packages, and then you have to search the NuGet package name here, right? In the browse section, okay, just type the NoFactor.Grid.Mvc6. Okay, here we go. You can check these two things: NoFactors.Grid.Mvc6 and NoFactors.Grid Core MVC6. Okay, so you have to select this MVC6. Core is already the part of the MVC6, right? And here it is the latest one, stable 720. Okay, go with this, and you can also check what are the dependencies here. So you can see it's .NET 6 it's talking about, and we're using .NET 6, so we are good to go. Install it. Okay, here it's going to install this, accept it. Okay, and then the next step is, so let me show you. If you open this MVC, so I'm using this NoFactor.Grid.Mvc6, okay, and when you install the NuGet package, you can find some files. These files: grid CSHTML and the pager CSHTML, and uh, this is for MVC view and result pages, whatever you feel, right? So it's almost same. So you have to copy this file, and you have to place in your MVC project, okay. So, and then we are good to go, we can use this. So there the CSHTML file, and we have the style sheets also here, right? css file and some JavaScript file. So we're going to copy all four files, right? Okay, so now, so it is installed. Okay, fine. So now open your project folder. Okay, you can see here, whenever any NuGet install, it's installed in its project, correct? So here if you check uh, your folder, okay, so there is two things: either the NuGet is going to install in this, in that project, or other way it could be in a local place. So that is the common NuGet place, right? So that you can find here. Okay, so this part is that you can go here, and version, okay, first open this. Okay, I installed 720, so open 720. Go inside the content. Now I have the CSS files in the MVC grid. I have JS files and views. Okay, so we'll do one by one. Fine. So copy the CSS. Better copy the MVC grid. Copy it. Okay. Now go to your project. Go to the www root CSS. Right click and paste it. Okay. Now I have this MVC grid CSS. Fine. Next is I have to copy the JS. Same thing. Copy MVC grid. Copy it. It's upon you. You want to copy the entire folder, or you want to keep, or you want to copy only that CSS file. I'm just copying the entire folder for my interest, right? Or for my ease as well. Then copy the views. If you can see here in the view, we have the grid.cshtml and the pager.cshtml. This is the parcel view. Okay. Okay, and that would be part of the shared. Inside the shared, get pasted. Fine. Okay, so this is the first step. Okay, the second step is, okay, so let me explain you one by one. Now you can see in the view import CSHTML, right? Add grid extension. It's talking about. So you have to add this. Perfect. Open it. View import CS. Open the view import CSHTML. Okay, and here you have to add the namespace. That is NoFactor MVC Grid, because this view import is going to be used in the layouts as well, right? So layout is using this, uh, the grid would use this as well, right? As these all underscore CSTML are parcel view as well as the main master page. Like this layout is a master page for all our views. Okay. Okay. Next step is uh, this reference we will add easily, no problem. And then it is going to use this CSS. Okay, fine. And initialize getting and the JS, two things we need to add. So the last one you can see it is having the CSS, having the JS, and having the script reference. So best way is that go and copy this last read HTML. Okay, and then you can add the view. Okay, so suppose if I have to add my view the home, it's up to you that how could you use it. If you want to add a separate controller, you can add a separate controller. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same controller. Okay, so here I have home controllers having the index. Okay, you see on. Okay, so maybe it could confuse, better we could add a new. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a MVC controller. Okay, empty MVC controller. Okay, add it, and this I'm going to use for the search, suppose. Okay, so whatever you want to search, it should be, it should include those actions. Correct. Perfect. My mistake. It should be search controller. Okay, next I have to add view for the search. So here I need to add a folder. Name should be search. Okay, because I added the search controller, and here I could add a view, empty view, add it, and this is going to index for search. Perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so what I'm going to paste it, I added CSS, I added JS. You can see the path is including MVC the same way I copied it, so no need to change anything. But if you change the path, or you copying this direct path, you have to do as per that changes, right? So another thing is that if you have any confusion, go there, like like it's JS. If I go and drag it here, right, you could see it's having some good relative path, but no, it's checking the absolute path. Okay, so it's not good, just leave it. Okay, maybe whenever I build, this would able to take the relative path. Okay, so this is correct. Now what I have to do is I have to write the body part. It's using the render body, but I have to use HTML body. Okay, so for this part I have to create some data. What are the based on the data I need to design it. Okay, perfect. So let's go and create some data for this. I have the search controller. Okay, okay, so by default the index has been added here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is mm, so suppose I have to, okay, I think better everyone understand this employee. Okay, so I'm going to add an employee class. I'm going to generate an employee class, so it's generated automatically here. Okay, so ideally it should be in the model. Okay, so it's now in the model. And so suppose employee could have a ID, then employee could have a name at least, right? And employee could have mm, address. Okay, so for simplicity I'm not going to do much more thing, just keep this thing here only, ID, name and address. Okay, and so what is going to return is it's going to return the list of employees. Okay, and I'm going to add some employees. Okay, so that could have, I'm not going to fetch this from the database. Suppose this could fetch from database. So ID is 1, name is uh, John, Gary, address is Washington DC, that's it. I'm not going to add much more thing here. Okay, next employee ID, to name should be Joe Obama, and address is going to be Florida. And next employee ID 3, name could be Kamala Kennedy, and then address would going to be Atlanta. Okay, so that's, I think it is fine. The 3 employee. Okay, I'm going to return the result as well. Fine. Okay, so now get details. I'm going to find the details here. Okay, and then I'm going to pass this to the view. Perfect. Okay, so whenever this will load. So suppose if, let's just suppose that you click on a search button, and your search button is going to call this index, right? And then it's going to fetch this details from database, right? So those logic could be part of here. Okay, and then it's got the result and just fine. So how you will do this here in view, correct? So this is my view. So my model should be this. Okay, and okay, so there is a few things that we need to remember. Okay, first of all, it's okay, for this purpose I am going to use this list. Okay, and this will work if you want to display something in the beginning only. Okay, okay, so give me a moment. Okay, so what next I'm going to do is, if you see in this uh, MVC grid uh, documentation, right? It's talking about this implementation. He implemented this name, surname, address, whatever is, right? And then he's giving this implementation. Okay. So I was talking about this list, right? Okay. So I could say you that if you want to implement some features like filters, paginations. So if there is any callback is related, your object should be queryable, because based on this iCorel object, this grid is going to implement those features of the paginations, filtrations, sorting things, right? Okay, so before that, let me first implement this part. I'm going to simply copy it, right? And then I'm going to paste it here, and then I'm going to change. This is default. Okay, so if you could see here, model, I have the capital ID. Okay, then next name I have added, and then I added the address. Okay, okay, so other parts it's not needed for me, right? So I added only 3 column. Okay, fine. Okay, for this check all, You could see these features is already given here in the script sections. If you want to implement, you can use it as well, right? So you could use both things. Okay. Hmm. So I'm ready for this thing. Okay. Next part is, okay, so first level is that let's see how it's working. Okay, then we'll go ahead. Okay, so before that, let me configure my program. Here I use the search. Okay, so it should call the search index. So directly I'm going to jump into the search controller index, please. Let's see how it's working. So it should open the list of employee that is expected. Yeah, it's opening, and yeah, okay, perfect. You can see it here. Okay. So we having this name, surname. Okay, I didn't change the title. It should be address. Okay. So in the index.html, the title should be address. So you can see these things, these features is so beautiful, right? So here first level is that you have to add a column. Okay, once the column is added, right, you could name it as per you. Okay, you can title it. So I title it with the name, I title it with the address. Okay, because it's the same, you can change it. So it could be employee. Okay, so if I add employee name and then I see here, I could check this, reload it. Great. So I think I have to save it first. Okay, and once it is loaded, reload it. Maybe I think I have to rerun it because this is CSHTML, so it's expecting that it should rebuild. Okay, yeah, you can see this employee name and address. Okay, fine. Now next level is that I'm going to add other features of like filters, so it can be filterable. Okay, next is it could be, give me a moment, sorry. Okay, next it could be uh, page here. So you could sort your page for 5, 10. You could configure it, right? Then what next feature, if you want it filterable, you want sortable. Okay, so you make it sortable. Okay, like so and so forth. So let me restart. Oh, perfect. You can see here this icon sort is coming. If you click it here, it is getting sort. Okay, if you click here, it is getting sort. And as you know, here only the one first page. If there is multiple records, it's going to split. Okay, this is going to add into the new page as well. Perfect. So unfilter, if you can click here, right, I'm going to search like Joe. Okay, here you can see it's working perfectly fine. Okay, now here the next hack is, you can see whenever these things are called, right, it is working fine. Okay, because it is a list is already integrating the enumerable part. Okay, so due to that it is working. If I write it here enumerable, probably this can't work, correct? Because enumerable and enumerable is different things. Okay, So either you write it as a list, or you should use it as a I query. Both should work. Okay. Next is, if I go to the search controller, you can see here my index is HTTP get, right? In any case, if you are going to use another method, right, so that method should also be HTTP get only. Once in any way you can't use HTTP post. If you use HTTP post for this search, it is not going to work. For me, it had the problem. I tried to post it. I tried to get the result through the post, and then I was achieving those filtration paginations. No, this is not going to work. Why? Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to click the okay. So I have to restart it because I changed it. Okay, so you can see whenever I click on the sorting, okay, it's expecting, it's searching for, okay, so this is first time it's called, oh, what I did, generic list. Okay, so here it's expecting the list right now because I'm returning the list, so that let's go some other nodes. Okay, repeating reply. Right, perfect. Now you can see I am going to click on the sort. This index will get called again, right? So it means this, whatever you link this loading this page, right, that should be linked with some HTTP get action method. Okay, not with any HTTP post. So that you need to take care of it. Perfect. Perfect. Next thing is that, suppose if you have to implement any other thing, right, like filters mode, I told you already, right? So here it's implemented this filterable, sortable. Okay, other thing is that you can use this thing using HTTP filter mode row. If you are going to use this, you can see one simple thing. Right now my filter is in the header, right? Okay, using grid filter mode. Okay, and you should, I think, ideally implement whatever the suggestions it's given, like if it's empty it should return no data found, right? So ideally you should add this thing as well. So here is a good help given by the no factor MVC Grid, right? But yeah, you should be you should be careful about a few things, right? Instead of using I enumerable, use means I enumerable, you should use I queryable, at least I queryable, or list is perfectly fine, no problem. Okay, and the action methods will be get, not the post. This is the conditions that I found first time I struggled with because I already had a post method, right? Okay, uh, it having the other good features, sorting, already implement the sortables. Okay, pagination wise, you can configure like this way as well. You can see here, if I'm going to copy this paginations, okay, so this is a good example here. So this is pageable I used, right? Instead of this I'm going to use this pageable. Okay, fine. So this is going to use this current page, but I have less records. I'm using the current page, the first page. Row per page it's showing 2, so in every page it should having the two rows, and page it should display 3 pages for at least, right? And it's having the 2 and 4. So this you could see in the drop down. Okay, So let me restart it and let's see how it's working. So two things we can see, this row and the page event. So this row is going to cause, okay, now you can see the filter is just come inside the row. Now here if I write the John and press the enter, you can see this filter. So you no need to click here. Whatever you will write here, this will call this default contents features. You can also use like equals, not equals, start with, ends with, right? If I write the ends with and use this John, it is not going to work. There's no record, right? But if I'm going to change with the starts with, it's going to turn John K, correct? And here you can see the next thing is pagination. So it's showing the 2. If I click on the 4, so my okay, so the filters apply, clear the filters. So default is 2. Next page have, so I have the total 3 records. So on the next page, second page having only 1 record. If I'm going to click on the 4 rows in a page, then the entire 4 rows is should load. I have only 3, so it's loaded the 3 only, right? So this is the nice feature I found in the MVC Grid, right? And there is a lot more, right? So I will cover in the next sections if you need those things, right? I will cover the export, and I will cover, if you want I can cover the configurable things as well, because here otherwise help is here available. You can see like how it is working with other things like exports. You can, if you click, you can see how this export is working with these export methods, where it is having some default uh, high-grade features with the collections. It's going to create this, it's going to uh, export it, and then other customizable feature is it is going to configure it completely if you want to, like filter registrations. Here you can see you can use the custom filter, right? Inherit this easy a grid filter, right? And then you have to register that, and then you can apply that as well, correct? Some HTML attribute you can find. You can use the row attribute and the attributed things. You can append the CSS as well, right? uh, First you can add the CSS, you can append the CSS, okay? You can use some attributed things here, and add also the row attributions things as well. Like here it's customized some things, like here it is employed, true false, it is the result is customizable. Right here is employed, but this is calculated based on if it is working, it is true. If it is not, it's false, like that. This model is returning, right? Is working part, okay? So those are the things it is it can be configured as well, right? Okay, so thank you so much.